Welcome to another episode of Coincidence Theory. You know, some people really love snakes, like this guy, or this guy, or this guy. Well, maybe not this guy. But I find it really interesting that the Vatican created a building in the shape of a giant snake, and that the Pope actually gives speeches from the serpent's mouth. I find that strange because of what Scripture has to say, and so we're going to start by reading a verse from Revelation. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. This is the inside of the Papal Audience Hall building at the Vatican. And as you can see, it very much looks like a snake. It has the head of a snake, the eyes of a snake, and the fangs of a snake. And in the center of the fangs, a throne, which looks a little something like this, if you can believe it. It really, I don't understand it, but I will say that for me, it feels like the personification of evil. Here's the inside comparison to an actual snake, and you can see how closely they align, which is also pretty interesting. I mean, it is undeniably a snake. Now here's a view of the same hall at night, all lit up, and clearly, again, we're looking at the head of a snake. I'm going to show you the outside of the building as well. And we just zoom out. And of course, that is also the head of a snake. Now, the subject of this video is serpents and the Vatican. So I also wanted to show you the staff that the Pope has, double-headed serpent, and its comparison to the goat god Baphomet and the staff, double-headed serpent staff located, well, in its crotch, really. That's where it is. And so there's an interesting coincidence there as well as we take a look at serpents and the Vatican connections. So now I'd like to circle back to the other room in the Vatican where we saw the giant turquoise snake with red feathers. There's a very interesting connection with the United States of America that I'm not sure a lot of people are aware of. Most people think that America got its name from an Italian explorer by the name of Amerigo Vespucci. Now, at least that's what I was told when I was growing up and taking history lessons. But actually the name is of Incan derivation. The Incan Indians call this land Amaruca. And Amaruca means land of the plumed serpents. And so I want to just read a little information about Amaruca, the land of the plumed serpents. I'm quoting a book called The Secret Doctrine from Helena Blavatsky, in which she states that the worship of the dragon and the sun were universal on the earth plane at one time. The tradition of the dragon and the sun is echoed in every part of the world, she says. There was a time when the four parts of the world were covered with temples sacred to the sun and the dragon, but the cult is now preserved mostly in China and in Buddhist countries. The dragon, however, she says, is not the Middle Age concept of a beast with wings breathing fire, but it is in reality a snake. Now, in his book, New World Order, The Ancient Plan of Secret Societies, William T. Still shows that America was called initially also the land of the plumed or feathered serpents, by the Indians of Peru. James Pierce researched an article written in the Theosophical Society magazine entitled Lucifer, which gave insight into the word America. He says that the chief god of the Mayan Indians in Central America was Quetzalcoatl or Kukulkan, which means plumed serpent or feathered serpent. And if I'm not mistaken, the Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan, I believe, gets his title from the Kukulkan, the plumed serpent. So there's some intersection between, that white supremacist organization and apparently Satanism or Satan. In Peru, it goes on to say, this god was called Amaru, and the territory known as Amaruca. Amaruca is literally translated the land of the plumed serpents. Variation of that would be land of the great plumed serpents. He claims that the name of America was derived from Amaruca instead of after the explorer Amerigo Vespucci, which is what I said earlier. So I just kind of wanted to cover that. That's another way in which the notion of the serpent ties back to the dragon, and the dragon ties back to, according to Helena Blavatsky, author of The Secret Doctrine, traces back to Lucifer, which makes the coincidence of this giant serpent architecture and artistry in the Vatican all the more puzzling. Or maybe it's just one big, you got it, coincidence, and they just love snakes. On second thought, that might be too much of a coincidence. Maybe you should take your baby and run.